Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Blessings to everyone. So today we will talk about something that not many are really aware on it, but it is very essential to know that. And I call it the on-off pattern. So when you start to come into relationships, or when you start to come and you make a new work, you will find out that after a while you lose the interest, or you have not the same passion, you have not the same thing. And once it happened that there came a sister to our Sheikh, and she said, "You know, Maulana, I do not feel any progress in my path. Yeah. And I'm doing everything. I'm keeping the zikr and I'm doing the prayers and so on." And so Maulana's answer was, "Well, you drive with me in the car, but every time we do the journey, you say to me, 'Oh, Sheikh, can you stop the car here? I want to see this, or I want to see that.' And like this, the journey is very long." Yeah. And I call it the on and the off. Yeah. So when we think, and this is what the ego makes us to think, that we are on a path, we're actually not really on the path. We think we are on the path, but we do not the work continuously. We do something and then we stop. And the reason is that we actually want to keep the system alive, the ego system alive. So it is a self-protected system, and it protects us through the way that we have blind spots. So it protects us through blindness. And therefore, when we enlighten, so-called, when we start to really wake up, there will be this situation where we feel completely naked, completely vulnerable, completely open to everything, and we do not actually know where we are. And this is a moment where you have to have a guide next to you, because you need to create a new self. Yeah. So most people stay in this cocon that they are relatively satisfied with the situation there is. They think they are on a good path. They think they do the thing. And when we look at a worldwide situation, even so, we are in a high danger, yeah, of losing the entire spaceship. We are still happy doing the same thing as always. And this is the thing you need to understand. We cannot act as long as we have these blind spots. That means all conference and whatever there will be, it will not come to a point unless we remove the blind spots and we see the truth as it is. Yeah. Very often, especially with outer things, it can be too late, right? And this happened to many generations, to many humanities before us. Sometimes we realize, but it is too late. So then the consequences, the train of consequences cannot be stopped anymore. Because the ego needs to protect itself. This is one of the reflections inside of us that always has this need to be protected. Yeah. From what? From others. Yeah. That is the danger. And the other one is the danger. So why is the other one the danger? Because the other one is the mirror. No. So what the ego fears the most is intimacy. It can have some intimacy, but then You come too close to the blind spots, and then you have to go away from it again. No? And this on-off thing is what keeps us basically on the same places in our life. Yeah. There's very, very little progress. We inherit also the program of our parents. And in Germany, we have a saying that the apple never falls far from the tree. No? So that means the son inherits the programs of the father. The daughter inherits the program of the mother. And as a first reaction, the child says, I don't want to be like my mother and I don't want to be like my father. Yeah. Well, the truth is, most probably you're very much like your father and very much like your mother. Yeah. And for this reason, when we come in good relationships with them, we have a chance to see our shadow self and to really do a transformative process. Yeah. That is what is needed. So the same happens on the spiritual, what people, when they are saying, I'm on a spiritual path or I'm a believer and so on, it is on-off. Yeah. If it wouldn't be on-off, that world could not continue as it is at the moment. Yeah. It can only stay in this because we have a phase of blindness, of numbness, of amnesia. And then again, we have a phase of seeing things. No. So to come to the core where you will be able to see all the steps that you have to do is not an easy thing. And usually in our tradition that happens in that period, what we call seclusion. And as a first timing, we do 40 days there. Yeah. So you sit with yourself 40 days, and what you do basically is to focus on certain points that you know they are there. Be it anger, be it jealousy, be it pride, be it whatever there is, you know. So it's not only about vices, it is actually something that you need to see that repeats in your life over and over and over again. There's always a period that you find yourself in the same emotional situation, like already from your childhood on. It repeats and repeats and repeats. And sometimes also the outer situation repeats. But more important is the emotional condition you feel yourself periodically again in. Yeah. So when you come to that point, something in you says, I want to go further. But also something in you says, I cannot go further, right? And this game we play most of the time. Now, as we are now in a collective, very dangerous situation, the pressure on us increases day by day. Yeah. And that means all of us, we have to go now to those places where we free will won't go. Yeah. So this is the best time, spiritually spoken, but it is also the time where you will most probably experience the greatest pain. Yeah. So I hope somehow you understand the pattern of on-off. Look in your own life, look in your own activities, in your own relationships, if it is like this or not. Look the relationship with yourself. Yeah. That sometimes you feel very separated from your own, and sometimes you feel more integrated, right? Thank you very much. Wishing you the best, and for you and your families. Assalamu alaikum. wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.